This video is sponsored by Air Models. With over 400 models to choose from, there's something for everyone, ranging from World War II, commercial airliners, helicopters and jets. Check the description for links for the range and the Spitfire Mark IX and VB. Hi everyone, James here, back with another look inside the box. This time it's the Airfix 1/72 scale fighter collection, and that is the 4 Spitfires and 1 Hurricane of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. On the front, a very nice computer graphic design of the Spitfire, and then 4 images along the bottom of now previous Battle of Britain Memorial Flight schemes, and then the model kit schemes on the left side here. Paints, 14 acrylic paints, 2 brushes and 1 poly cement tube also included in this kit, and a very brief description of the Spitfire and Hurricane in multiple languages. More profiles of the Spitfires and the Hurricane, and you get 4 flying hours on there as well. It's skill 2. Just the image on the both sides of the box, and some more warning information on either side, again in multiple languages. If you turn the box over, on the back there is again some more history of the Spitfire and Hurricane, the profiles of the 4 Spitfires and the 1 Hurricane, with the description of each, top speed and the weapon armament. And then on the right side, I think the display stand is included as well. The 4 Spitfires and the 1 Hurricane displayed on the stand. And opening the box, comes in the outer sleeve. If I can get it open. Finally got it undone. Coming in this tray, you get the instruction booklet, the decals for each aircraft, the bag of acrylic paints, the glue and 2 brushes, the stand to display the models on, and the plastic kits themselves, each in a single bag each. The display stand sticker showing the aircraft name, and there's actually a correction decal also. First off, look at the plastic. The first one is the Hurricane, canopy. The front one has some vertical lines on the front. I'm guessing due to the scratching of the plastic in the bag, as it's not individually wrapped. As you might can see there is lines. Overall it's good. The framing of the cockpit for the back piece is quite pronounced, so you can, if you wanted to, freehand paint the frame on, or you could mask and then carefully scribe along the edge, which would make it easier. You get 4 sprues, the main fuselage halves. There is a fair amount of detail. It shows the fabric and the wood ribbing, and also the from the back of the cockpit to the nose it's metal, and there is no interior detailing, as it is quite an older mould. The second sprue has the rear control surfaces, the prop, the air intakes, landing gear. The third is the lower half of the wing, more cockpit interior parts and the wheels. And the final sprue is the upper wings, showing the cannons on there, small cockpit parts and the exhausts. That's the Hurricane. Next is one of the 4 Spitfires. This time it's individually wrapped, so I'll leave that in there. It is very clear, that's what I can see with inside the bag. Very nice. You get the 2 fuselage halves there. There is some interior detailing of the cockpit. Second sprue is the 2 choices of wheels, options for landing gear, up or down, cockpit parts, radiators. Moving on, the rear fin, the prop, rear control surfaces, the exhausts. Even get a pilot figure for this one also. Doesn't look too bad. And lastly, the last 2 sprues is the top and lower wings. And again, recessed panel lines. The plastic is crisp, details crisp also. That's the first Spitfire. Second Spitfire. So okay, the second Spitfire, again it's an old moulding, nice touches. Again, the clear parts are individually bagged and they're nice and clear, there's no scratches as I can see. This is an old moulding. The panel lines are raised They're very fine as well, so you have to be careful not to destroy the lines. There's your cannon blisters there. Last two sprues are the fuselage halves. Another pilot figure, it's nicely detailed. The prop, control surfaces, the wheels, some cockpit parts, and this isn't got any cockpit interior detailing. If you wanted to, you could carefully cut on it's either the left side or the right side. You can cut the door out to display that open if you wanted to. That's the second Spitfire. That's the third one. And this one is a slightly more recent moulding. Again, the clip parts are individually bagged again. That's a nice touch. Stop the parts getting scratched. First sprue is the choice of two sets of wheels again. Radiators, nose cone, more cockpit parts here. Fuselage halves. These are recessed panel lines, some cockpit detailing on the sidewalls. Next two sprues are the lower and upper wings. Nicely moulding. I believe this is a duplicate kit, as there might be the same mark. It does look the same as the other one. And then lastly, the control surfaces, the prop, some more cockpit detailing parts here also with another pilot figure. That's the third Spitfire. And last and the final Spitfire this time the canopy isn't bagged, so it's prone to scratches, but it does look okay. It's a bit of fogging on the top. I think it's just a bit of dust. That is the cockpit canopy. Moving on to the two fuselage halves. The panel lining is raised, so again you have to watch for when sanding down you don't erase the panel lines. There is some basic interior detailing there for inside. And then the last two sprues is the upper and lower wings, the prop, again control surfaces. I think it's the option for a tropical, might be the air intake there, I'm not too sure. Moulding's okay, it's an old moulding, but the detail isn't very up to date, really. There's some newer kits. That's the fourth Spitfire. Moving on to the decals. They're very good. They're thin. Good register. Colours are nice. there isn't any misaligning of the roundels. It's very good. You also get the wax covering for the machine guns there. Stencil data. And the correction decal there, I believe. It's for one of these, as if you put it on one side it will be back to front, so that's the correction for those. The sticker for the stand is showing you the different marks, and then there is two of the same mark there. Here's your paints, your glue and brushes, and this stand I won't take it out of the bag, I'll just leave it in there as I'm not going to use that. And lastly, the instructions. On the front has the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Fighter Collection, the Airfix logo on the background, and in front the 4 Spitfires and the single Hurricane. Is a Mark IIC, as I said before, looking at the plastic, has the cannons for that. Opening up multiple languages of the history of when the Memorial Flight was formed. That was back in 1957. We have the assembly icon instructions there. If you have to super glue, optional, have to make holes, things like that. Assembly instructions in multiple languages. And again, typically just steps 1, you're starting off building the basic cockpit, adding the pilot figure. This is for the Mark 5B. It's just one page of 6 build steps for the 5B, and then you have the stencil data, or the draftman's drawings if you like, on the right side, and the markings and camouflage scheme on the left. I won't go through all the build steps, they'll be the same for each Spitfire. There is a parts locating diagram here. This is the IXE. There is 11 build steps for this one. And again, stencil data on the right, and the colour scheme. This will be in the silver, or bare metal if you like, scheme for that one. Moving on, this time build step 1, building the pilot figure, adding the arms, and then step 2, making the cockpit and adding the pilot also. There is 11 build steps again for this one, the Mark XIX. And I think that's the 2 Spitfires you get. They're both PR XIX, and that's the 2 colour schemes for them. You get the invasion stripes and the multi-tone blue on the top side, and then the darker blue on the bottom side, the underneath. And lastly is the Hurricane. Again, this time step 1 is wanting you to build a prop first, and then adding the cockpit interior to the inside of the fuselage halves. Step 3, building the wings. 4, adding the wings to the fuselage and adding rear control surfaces. The 5th and final step is adding the landing gear, radiator. It's a quick one as there isn't much detail. Pages, the last 2 pages are adding the holes for the stand. It's telling you to drill 2mm hole 5mm apart. Then the Hurricane camouflage scheme here. I didn't realise this was stuck to the underside of the instructions. Is this. I think this is just the painting and decal placement. I think this is the correction booklet as the main instruction. The main instructions are telling you wrong, and this is the actual the main placement of the decals on the real aircraft. I might be wrong there. So this is the PRXIX Spitfire of the right or the correction placement, and again for the 5B and the Hurricane there. It's a shame it's in black and white. It would have been a nice touch if there was in colour. Again for the invasion stripe, PRXIX Spitfire, the official, if you like, placement, and just indicating here for 1/72 scale, the black and white 18-inch wide invasion stripe equates to 6.35mm in 1/72 scale, just telling you the measurements of the invasion stripes for that one, along with the stencil data and lastly the silver Spitfire in the bare metal scheme with the stencil data for that as also. So that's the Airfix 1/72 scale Battle of Britain fighter collection. Thanks for watching.